Ringside Junkies.
Ringside Junkies, baby.
Welcome back. What's going on, D?
Man, just looking forward to another great boxing year in 2026. We got a lot of big fights coming up, So it's exciting, man.
Let's let the people know. Welcome back. And if you join us, today's a little different. Today, we our topic is still on boxing, but it's more of a question. And it's called the Four Kings of American Boxing. Right? I'm going to put a big question. And hopefully one of the four potential kings we talk about is going to be one of your favorites. One of the ones is going to be Gervonta Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin the Dream Haney.
Debo.
So the opening question today, you guys, out of the four American boxers we're talking about today, they're dominating the headlines. There are multiple blockbuster fights that could be potentially made, but they're being discussed right now. But the question is, which one of these is actually becoming reality and getting made? Right? Has boxing finally reached a point where the big names are finally willing to fight each other, right? Instead of protecting the undefeated records. What do you think, D?
No, I still believe that these fighters are still looking across the street at one another and not willing to put that O on the line. Some fighters are willing, but not all of them. I don't ever believe that any fighter is afraid of one another, but because they're fighters. But they can be a little curious about if they can potentially, beat a fighter. But I, just wish they would put it all on the line. The great champions, Ali, Hearns, the original Four Kings.
You said it.
They all got O's and weren't afraid to put them on the line. They all fight each other and didn't worry about that losing. So,
but you know what? I'm also wondering if some of that is because of perception. We've got a gentleman out here right now by the name of Money May Floyd, who banked on his no loss record, and I think now he's 50-0. But I think when you first established that, you create like a paradigm, so to speak. Say, hey, this is what the new thing has to be. If you don't have on your record, as long as you keep it on your record, you are golden, right?
Right.
So, and being that Florida has a huge following, not just viewers, right, but also younger boxers kind of coming up, kind of following that path, So I think that kind of started that thing, because prior to that, I'm not saying having it on your record didn't mean much, but I think we saw more action, right, in a Chuck Norris movie. You know what I mean? So right now, right, there's no action, So today, fans, what we're going to break down again is where do we stand, or where do they stand in negotiations between these potential four kings. So right now, I think the closest fight we are looking to see right now with the latest news or headlines or wherever you get your feed from is the Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis fight, which could be a thrilling fight, right? So if you haven't heard real quick, the WBO has official order Devin Haney to defend his mandatory challenger or fight his mandatory challenger with Keyshawn Davis. I think they had 20 days to work something out. I think we're probably a couple days past it at this point before they negotiate first bid. Now, peep this. Now, Bill Haney has publicly requested a package deal, if you guys haven't heard, where he wants both Keyshawn Davis, right, and who was it? I think was Keyshawn Davis and was it Teofimo Lopez? I think is what it was. No. It was Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson who we won as a package deal, right?
Wow.
And Jay Prince came back and said, "Hey, I think a better deal would be a Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez." That's what it was, right? But what's crazy about that, you guys, is that Jay Prince and Devin Haney are like buddies, and I kind of take it that Jay Prince is like a mentor to Devin Haney, who actually gave Haney the idea, hey, going forward, when you negotiate it, ask for like a two package deal. So that's what Bill presented to Jay Prince. Jay Prince flipped it on him. So I just found that real cute, to say the least. I think the next fight that may be happening that makes sense, you guys, is going to be a Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. I think Stevenson Haney. I think they're trying to. The ask was, hey, can you make it at 144 catch weight? But Bout still faces obstacles. I think as Devin Haney or Stevenson has demanded that Haney vacate the belt first. It's me. What way that I interpret that is you take away some of his leverage in order to make you the A side. Because you take that belt away, what do you have? Because realistically, when you look at both Haney, in my opinion, and Shakur Stevenson, fan base wise, when you go look at these guys' arenas and what they've done, one of them have sold out arenas, dude. And I'm not saying they don't have a big fan base, right? But when you look at putting butts in seats and selling tickets to the fans, right? Which one makes more sense business wise? And fans, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to see it, right? But I think to try to satisfy the box, so to speak, right? And kind of give them the money that they want, the $5 or $10 million. The venue has to make sense, right? And then, hey, can you guys put butts in the seats? And I would say the fight that we probably won't see anytime soon will be a fight with Tank Davis. It looks like we'll be on hiatus until January next year, you guys. I know the fight that we're all probably going to see was a fight between Tank and Shakur, or a fight between Tank and Haney. But I think that none of us are going to see Tank this year, just based on that information that has actually come from Al Heyman. So sorry to hear y'all say that. In fact, I should have said the 3 Kings instead of 4 Kings. Tank doesn't have to have a belt to fill seats. He's clearly the fan favorite. You know what I mean? Now, fans listening, what I mean by that, I think when you look at worldwide, right, and when you look at folks who are actually coming to come see Tank, right? Now, Tank clearly has a following, right, that's going to support him, right? And fans, I ask you guys, if you guys really supported Shakur and supported Haney, go buy his tickets, go to the fight, right? Quit posting here online, right? And look, and quit ordering the fights on that. Go see your man, But so the discussion point again is: are we closer than ever to seeing these guys fight each other, D, or is this just another round of boxing politics? What do you think?
Still boxing. To me, a little bit of boxing politics. Now, Devin Haney is in a little bit of pickle because WBO ordered him to fight Keyshawn Davis. So more than likely that fight's going to happen. Not sure if we're probably far away now from the Shakur Tank fight, which is what everybody wants to see. So that's good. So now we're talking into next year with that one. So it's like Shakur versus Tank. It does depend on both fighters, though. Do Tank want to fight Shakur at this point, or do Shakur want to fight Tank? It's really up to them if the boxing world get the fight that we really want to see, because we all know, honestly, everybody wants to see Tank versus Shakur. Based on Shakur's skills that can be tested by a Tank. Everybody wants to see Tank, no matter what's going on in Tank. Tank got a lot going on, but at the end of the day, he's still box office.
That's right, box office draw. And let me say this, and one thing's for sure, and two things for certain. When it comes to boxing, there are no certainties, which we all know that. We can only hope that we see any of our 4 Kings fight anytime this year, let alone each other, right? But I think if I were a betting man, if I was in business of betting right now, I would say Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis probably closer than anything right now of maybe seeing by the end of this year sometime, possibly. And I believe one of that fight aligned with the stars at nighttime, would face a Tank Davis next year. Because I still don't think Jay Prince and his team, I'm going to let Shakur anywhere near that beast that we call Tank Davis. That's how I feel about that. So fans, y'all probably won't do. I don't care. Move on. So since we are on, so ultimately it looks like Devin Haney is the centerpiece of all this because of the WBO mandates and because of the other piece around him, Keyshawn as well as Shakur, which Shakur and Keyshawn not gonna fight each other. So
nope.
So let them get that package deal. That's what I say. But it's fighter spotlight time, you guys. Let's talk a little bit about Devin the Dream Haney, better known as Debo, former undisputed lightweight heavyweight champion, 3-division world champion, undefeated professional record. He's got elite jab and defense and a really high ring IQ. His most notable wins are George Kambosos, Vasily Lomachenko, Regis Prograis, and Brian Norman Jr., who he just fought this past November to a unanimous decision to win the WBO welterweight title.
Right.
So point one drive here. Could Haney potentially fight Keyshawn due to W order before fighting Tank or Shakur? And is he willing to take the toughest road in boxing, or is he simply facing the mandatory obligations?
Right. Well, kind of go back to what I was saying earlier about Haney, the Haney versus Davis fight. It's gonna happen because the WBA ordered it. The only way Devin can get out of it, he would have to literally be stripped, give up the WBO title in order to open up opportunities for him to have a big showdown with either Shakur or Tank. But he would have to give up the title. That's the only way he can get out of it in order. I mean, WBO is saying, look, this is the guy. You got to fight him or give up your title. It's one or the other.
And you know what? And I'm wondering if he and his team, Devin's team, it is. I get it. What the title represents. It represents years of hard work. It's prestige. It's saying I got something, right? You give it up to do what? To chase for another belt, for more greatness, right? This is rhetorical, right? Because I often wonder why some guys are quick to give it up to go get that, or some guys kind of hold on to that, saying, "Hey, I'm going to stay right here because if I get this up, I don't have anything, right? I don't have more leverage anymore." You know what I mean?
Right.
So let me ask you, which fight is less likely, or which match is less likely to happen? You think?
Which fight is less likely to happen? The one we want to see.
That's an no-brainer there. That was a given. I really believe, man, if that Debo wants all the smoke with each king. I am convinced. I believe that he just wants to the WBO and putting up that belt, right? But I also think this puts him in the driver's seat where he's able to negotiate top billing over the other three kings. So I think if Tank has, because I also hear that Tank has to vacate his belt. I haven't seen that yet. And if that is not the case, Debo may not be in the driver's seat with Tank, but he damn sure is in the passenger seat. You know what I mean? And being able to discuss a bigger chunk, especially if he gets past a Davis and a Shakur, right? And you're right there at Tank's back door, so to speak. As for Shakur, I think he may be kind of out in the cold, so to speak, when it comes to these guys we're talking about. I still think, there's some guys there, maybe even the Russell brothers, Antoine Russell Jr., one of those boys. So I think that'd be a great fight for him. Because even without
Tank, it's a great fight for Shakur.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Outside of these other three kings right now. And I'm pretty. What it looks like to me, man, it looks like Jay Prince and his team are taking Shakur on a slow trajectory. You know, they're staying close of any danger, and I think us watching, I kind of like, what are y'all doing out there? We want let's just go ahead and fight. But I think they're still of the old mindset. Hey, let me keep my horses clear of that danger. Kind of like the old Bob Arum formula, right? Keep everybody in the house, have you guys fighting each other. You know, right?
Well, look,
right? It doesn't work for everybody, man. You
although
still got to sell seats.
It's kind of like PBC too, though. Al Heyman and them.
Hey, man, I don't know what you're talking about. You tripping? He tripping.
Well, it's sad.
All right, so I think it's fitting now that we talk about Keyshawn Davis, since I think this is the fight that probably is most likely to happen. Fighter spotlight: Keyshawn Davis, Olympic silver medalist, undefeated rising star, former lightweight world champion, explosive combination puncher with a growing fan appeal. And I say that with respect. Most notable victories, most recently, his rematch with Nigel Albright made this year. And Dennis Barrington. So Keyshawn's been ordered by the WBA to challenge Devin Haney for the welterweight titles. The question for you, D, and for the fans: has Keyshawn earned a title shot, or is he being fast-tracked?
I don't think he's being fast-tracked. You know, Keyshawn, he's been tested with fighters that you didn't think would test him, like Jermaine O'Neal and Nahir Albright. You know, those guys were not necessarily on Keyshawn's level per se, but they still gave him good work to prepare him for a potential showdown with Haney. He did learn some things and tricks in those fights. Heck, Keyshawn, he would have an easier time with the guys like Pedraza and Lemos, who was supposed to give him good work, but he had easier work, you know, with them than Ortiz and Albright. So they gave him better work. So,
you know what, and this is the thing, which D, you're a big basketball fan, so let me break this thing down to you right here.
Yeah.
You know, when basketball players are not quite ready for the NBA, D, they go into something called the G League, D.
Oh,
you know, they may spend a little time there, right, to develop their stardom. You know what I mean? But maybe you know, the three ain't quite there, right? Just whatever it is, right? I think that was a great idea when they brought it in, because how many players have we seen coming to the league like, y'all paid how much for that? Right? And we see a guy kind of get bounced from team to team to team to team. And then ultimately you find yourself on a court playing half court. Hey, and it's so-and-so, right? And he right in front of you, right? So, respectfully with Keyshawn, man, I draw similarities here. I think he's a talented fighter.
Okay.
But how much talent can we stand in these sports, right? Do we promote everybody to a superstar right away just like that? You know what I mean? I'm not saying he doesn't have the bill of goods to be that superstar. I'm saying for this conversation, honestly, I don't think he should even be in these conversations with a Tank, with a Shakur, with Haney. Absolutely. And I mean that 110%.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Haney better be careful.
Right? Listen, again, I'm not saying he doesn't have attributes. Right?
Okay.
So again, I just read y'all his list, right? Then his highlights. Right. And I think it caught somebody out that I didn't have in my list. But again, bro, I look good fighting a C fighter. You know what I mean? And I'm out of shape.
Oh, come on, man.
You know what I mean?
But Keyshawn, I think he's ready. I think he's gonna, you know, I think if the fight happened, that Haney might be the favorite, but don't be surprised if Keyshawn, put it on him. Keyshawn is capable of. He's capable.
This boy has not been on the big stage. He has not been on the big stage right now, right? He's great at that right there. Just like my boy AB was, right? But bro, when you're on this big stage, it's something called stage fright. You freeze up, right?
Yeah.
The big lights hitting your face, right? It's just a different stage, homie. It's a different stage, and I think until he gets in front of an A caliber fighter, right? Somebody who's got those, who's been in with him. Well, I'm sorry, who knows.
Been in those lights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a different thing, man. Look, so again, I think he's extremely talented. But again, as I mentioned with every man in this piece, it takes more talent to be a star, right? I think Keyshawn needs to continue to build his brand. I just don't think he's there yet. Like I said earlier, when I was struggling with the names, I think if he was a face, maybe Gary and Tom Russell Jr. Hell, even Teofimo Lopez, right? Yeah. Since Jay Prince can keep everything in house, right? Why not that? Right? So, listen, I'm not saying he's been fast tracked, but I do think he needs to slow down a little bit, and I think he needs to show us who he really is. He's got time, take the time with this guy, right? Or maybe is this Jay Prince puppet, right? Because he's the only one talking. Keyshawn, nobody else talking to him.
I don't know. But I like Keyshawn, man. I think he's gonna give if the fight happens or when it happens, because it's gonna happen if Haney doesn't get rid of the belt. It's gonna happen. So when that fight happens, we'll see what Keyshawn, has. And yes, I still believe he can shock the world. He could shock. He has the skills, man. He can't help who they put in front of him.
Yes, he can.
Well, he can. He can. But maybe he can. But
you are here fighting the air bright a second time. Well, go sit down, somebody. Out here wasting our time. So the next guy on the spotlight, guys, is going to be Shakur Stevenson. Deion, let you bring him in. Shakur.
Well, Shakur. Let's see about Shakur, Mr. Stevenson. My dude, he got his last fight was against Teofimo Lopez, where he fought to a unanimous decision back in January, and he won the WBO Ring Magazine Junior welterweight titles. He got fights over Oscar Valdez, Edwin De Los Santos, Josh Padley, and Yoshino. Pacino. But Haney, the Haney, it remains interesting in the catchweight fight, while fans continue to call for Tank and Shakur. But the question is Shakur the most avoided fighter in boxing today? What you say, D?
Well, I keep saying if Jay Prince and them keep fooling around, Shakur gonna find something in damn cold with a damn chinchilla on. For real, man. I'm trying. But look, obviously, his management team wants what's best for Shakur, right? Which is not always the best interest of us, the fans, the ones who are filling the seats, the ones who are paying for this shit. It's so when you got a tremendous talent like Shakur, who faces opponents at opposite end of the spectrum, like a Josh Padley, or face somebody on the elite side, like a Teofimo Lopez, and it's the same result. You know what I mean? So I don't think anyone is avoiding him. I think they're being kept from him.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? I think they are keeping these guys safe. You know what I mean? Right. And I don't know how bad Shakur is kicking and scratching, saying, "Hey, I want better. Make that happen." This kind of goes back to the 90s. Fighters had that gall, that bat, would say, "Nah, make this happen right here." Roy Jones is great at it. Roy Jones said, "You know what? After I beat this boy, I'm coming for you next." Absolutely. And the only thing I heard Roy Jones complain about was when he was with B-Hop, 60-40. But what do you think, D? What do you think?
No, nobody's none of these fighters I don't think they're he's avoided. Fighters are willing to fight Shakur, but it goes back to what I was saying about fighters looking across the street. They look at Shakur and they see those superior boxing skills. Like, can I crack that code? They're leery of them, and they feel like Shakur the type of guy, hey man, I might get my O messed up. It's those superior boxing skills. where they're a little leery of whether or not they can beat him, but fighters are willing to test to see if they can break through his defense. It's all about his defense. He reminds me a little bit of Floyd in a way, like Floyd Mayweather, because at the moment, Shakur is kind of like Floyd, where the attribute to beat him is what he's great at, and that's dealing with pressure. Shakur is good at dealing with pressure. So if it's just one of those things where fighters are like, oh, they'll fight him, but it's like, do they have a chance to crack that code? How do you crack the code? Because he's so great defensively.
So you and I sounds like are at opposite ends of this. You're saying fighters are reluctant themselves. Right. I'm saying it's the team, it's the management. That's what I'm saying. Because I think in the fighting business, and none of these guys get fighting. Right. I mean, all of them have fought each other at some point before, right? Maybe not officially for a title, but Tank said he cracked Devin and he cracked Shakur, right? So I don't think that's the case. Now, I do think Tank can be camera shy when it comes to us voicing our opinions. So I think he's shy and timid about that piece, but I think he'll definitely get in the ring and go to work. And I don't know if Al Heyman has some reluctancy on putting his pit bull out there, so to speak, but I do think Jay Prince does for sure, as far as letting Shakur here and eat, right? So that's my take on that. And speaking of pit bull, let's get into my boy. Gervonta Tank Davis. Thanks. I wish I had some music right now, y'all. I cue this music for show.
From B-More.
Welcome to the stage, multi-division champion, the boxing's biggest pay-per-view champion out of all four, right? Yeah. Right, because I don't think I've ever seen Shakur them on a pay-per-view unless it was on Tank's pay-per-view.
No. Yeah.
He's got an elite knockout percentage. He's known for explosive power and counter-punching. No other than Gervonta Tank Davis. Notable wins: Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Isaac Cruz, Samant Roach, who he just fought recently to a majority draw back in March. I've heard some people say Tank doesn't have a resume. Y'all crazy as hell. Listen, man. These guys on here were dangerous guys, right? And world champions. Am I wrong?
No, you're not
wrong. So it irks me. And again, I'm not riding nobody's right now. I would say out of the four, this is definitely my favorite. I'm not hating none of these guys, right? But I love the work, right, that Tank puts in. And I went to see this guy in person. It's like every fight he's had so far, right? He's exciting. He brings back that nostalgia of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you guys. And I know the art of boxing is to hit without getting hit. But I think another piece of that, right, is being able to give us a show, right?
It's the art of danger.
Yes, the art of danger. Yeah, thank you, D. The art of danger. So Tank's position right now, I think a win over Haney or Stevenson could have raised criticism that he's had so far because his inconsistency of being in the sport in boxing, especially amongst the talented elite. So the question is, for the fans out there, if Tank beats Haney or Shakur, does he become the face of boxing? What do you think, D? Talk to him.
I believe he can, because you got to remember, Tank he's already loved by all of the boxing world, no matter what's going on with him. And the reason why is a lot of boxing fans want to see the knockout, and the knockout can come at any time when you are watching a Tank fight. It's it's kind of like Jaws. Right. But before things were going on with him, things were happening to him outside of the ring. He was already becoming the face of boxing, especially after he had beaten Ryan Garcia, who was on the fast track of becoming a face as well. So yes, I think if he beats Haney or Shakur, he can become the face of boxing, because he's already loved by the boxing world. Like, everybody love him. based on the excitement.
So you say he needs that signature piece. He needs that centerpiece to say, "Hey, I did that."
Especially if he beat Shakur. Whew. That would be the one.
I get with that. Like I was saying earlier, Tank has brought back that nostalgia of wanting to sit and wait for hours through preliminary fights, right? Through that stale pizza that you just can you want to keep eating. That's been in 3 hours as you keep watching these fights. He's brought enthused eyes back to the sport. Back to boxing. Anticipating the next round that he's gonna sleep somebody, right? And like I said earlier, this man fills seats no matter his opponent, no matter what arena. So I say to you, no matter who Tank fights, I think as long as he stays active, he'll always be remembered as one of the faces in boxing. I don't think he'll be the face. And I'm saying because I don't think he actually needs these guys, just based on what I said earlier. As with anything else, fans, we like things. We love things for the way they make us feel. You know what I mean? Right. We remember that, right? One of the early shows I explained to you guys, one of my favorite fighters was Muhammad Ali, right? Sitting on the floor, fall asleep, waiting for that fight to come on, and you've been woken up by your uncles. Yeah. Oh man, right? You'd have missed half the fight, right? That's what Tank brings back to the sport for boxing. That's why he fills seats. That's why the who's who of Hollywood brings out their beautiful women. That's why when I go see Tank, I take my wife. You know what I mean? When I go with one out there, right? It's an event. He makes it special, right? The thing that Floyd did differently than what these guys are doing now who are following him, and Shakur I'm talking about right now. Floyd quickly learned that he needed an alter ego, a persona that people could bank on and bank against, right? So he went from being pretty boy to being who? Money Man, right? Flamboyant and flashy, right? And like I know, people won't going to go see Floyd win, but to see him lose. But regardless, he started filling those seats, pay-per-view numbers out of his world. It was that persona. And I say that because Floyd started this with this 50-0 thing. I think I said that earlier. No blemish on the record. But prior to that, he had established himself first as a notable fighter, and then he started doing the other things. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to these guys, to especially Shakur, put your work in first, young bro. You know what I mean? Show us something first, right before you get to run around the ring. Floyd used to box in the ring, right? Floyd had knockouts early on. You know what I mean? Right? So Floyd had built that reputation early enough where he could afford to do that later on. So I just know I would run the world for that. But I said next question should be which one of these fights means the most? Would it be a Haney versus Keyshawn? You got young undefeated stars could create a young superstar. Tank versus Haney, legacy fight, years in the making, and probably more years to come. Haney and Shakur, elite boxing chess match. Tank versus Shakur, explosive knockout power versus elite defense. And debate here, which matchup sells most pay-per-views and which one delivers the best fight, right? Me personally, I think that Tank Davis would sell out, would outsell any of these kings that are mentioned in this video without fighting any of the kings in this video.
Wow.
You get where I'm coming from?
I got you.
He don't need none of them.
No, you don't.
And I know I just told y'all the last few minutes ago, but this is what I'm talking about. Tank don't need none of them. As much as we want to see him fight these guys, we're still going to tune in and see, right? What drama is going to come next. What do you think, D?
Well, for me, by far, it's the fight that we might not ever see. I would love to see this fight, but it's definitely by far Shakur versus Tank. It's an intrigue. First of all, it's an intriguing fight. You know,
Of course.
you got most boxing experts that feel that Tank's effective pressure in boxing actually can put the skills of Shakur in jeopardy. People got to remember that Shakur, he got great boxing skills too. It's just that it's overlooked by the boxing world because he knocked everybody out. He has timing just like Shakur, and you know, Shakur can easily mess around and get time, and you know, but Tank is definitely the guy that everyone tunes in to see, and people are curious to see if he's the guy that can not only beat Shakur but stop him, and with one of those unbelievable knockouts. So for me, it's Shakur versus Tank is a fight. You know,
I feel that.
Hey,
you know what it is, man. I think when you take a look at all these guys, you know, Tank he's got all these attributes, right? But he's the shortest out of all of them, right? So it's almost like you're rooting for the little guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he shows up each and every fight. He gives us all what we want, no matter what. Right? We're excited. You know, Tank is that guy that, you know, when we are lulled with boredom, he wakes us up. Right? We go from laying the back of that chair to scooting forward in our chair, like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's that guy. Right? I can't remember a fight of Shakur that I actually scooted forward, like, here we go, let's go, Shakur, let's go. But you know, and if you see this, you're probably gonna get sad, but it's okay. I like Shakur, you, man. Yeah.
But Shakur's so talented that he doesn't have to. Sometimes you got fighters, they don't have to. They're very talented. You know,
what does that mean? If you expected me, right, to pay for a ticket to come see you, right, even if I'm at home, $75. I may not even do it, bro. Right? I may take that $75 and go out and get my wife a dinner or some or a pair of shoes. Who knows? I don't know. You know, I'm just saying. You know, you know. And I know I keep knocking on Shakur, man. Like I say, Shakur. I remember when I first heard about you. You know, loved your story. You know, and folks say, hey, this is the new Floyd Mayweather. As with every other boxer out there who came in with great skill. You know, but I think you do take it to a different level, not a different level. I would love to kind of see fight in the pocket more to test that shit. It shows that you can take a punch, right? It shows that you got some knockout power.
Yeah, but not if you don't have to. I don't know, bro. We might be disagreeing a little
bit. Which is fine. I think the debate is healthy. Absolutely.
He's so talented. So if he doesn't have to get in the fire, why get in the fire?
Because if he demands these $5-10 million paydays, which they're trying to get him, he's got to show us something. You know what I mean?
Well, it goes back. Okay, you got a group of people, a group of boxing fans that like the knockout, but you also have guys like myself who loves defense. So I'm the type. Oh man, Shakur got another shutout, but it was beautiful to me because I was looking at a fighter who hits and not get hit. So for me, it's beautiful to see it.
Listen, man, I'm not saying
beautiful as it's barbaric, but it's beautiful for me to see it.
I'm not saying I don't want ropes in my pool to let me know why I shouldn't go in the deep end. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I don't like cold pizza. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is every now and again, mix it up. Yeah. Mix it up, bro. That's all I'm saying. Mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Mix it up.
Yeah.
Like I say, you know, every fight, bro. Every fight.
if you don't have to risk it, I seen him do some things. You know, in some of the fights. You know, when he fought Jamel Herring, which remember that was a great.
See, he proved the point there though, because you know what he said in the fight. He said, right.
Remember, they were both Crawford guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Shakur's friend Crawford and Jamel Herring's Crawford, but it looked like the champ looked like Crawford may have been a little bit on Jamal's side, kind of pissed your boy off a little bit. So maybe that night he was more aggressive than ever, and he gave us a show. Because after the fight, he kind of looked over and turned to him like, really?
Right. So he was motivated.
So that was good. That was good show there. Yeah.
So, getting on down. So, why does boxing need these fights? Like, what's the big picture? And I should say the big picture is, fans, you, me, we're demanding the best fight the best, right? Legacy now matters more than preserving undefeated records. I think big American super fights can grow the next generation of boxing fans. These matchups can redefine the sports landscape for years, everybody. So the question is, can boxing maintain its momentum if these fights never happen? Fans, drop a comment, tell us what you think.
Yes.
What do you think,
Dave? Absolutely. Yeah, because remember, the sport of boxing is built on suspense. We don't always get the fight that we're going to see. It's sad sometimes. But even if we, like, let's go Devin versus Keyshawn Davis. It's not necessarily the fight that everybody would want to see, but it's still a decent fight. You see what I'm saying? We are not getting the blockbuster that we want to see. But boxing is still going to give you just enough to build you up for the big fight, the big showdown to happen. So, yeah, we sometimes don't get what we get, but usually the fight that we have to settle for, we be like, it's okay. I'm okay with, aren't you okay with Keyshawn if he fights Devin? Are you okay with him?
What did I tell you earlier? That stage too big, man. Look, so we really about to find out what he made of. We really about to find out. Somebody had Debo coming out on his bicycle with that theme music. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, y'all gonna see. Y'all can really see.
Yeah. I think we're in good hands. The sport of boxing will always be in good hands and continue to move forward. Because at the end of the day, bro, fans just love pugilism. At the end of the day, even if these fights don't happen, a lot of times, boxing fans, whether you're novice or hardcore, you want to see somebody banging. You want to see somebody banging. You want to see leather going, leather flying. But the fights that we talked about, I still would love to see those fights, though. I would still love to see those fights happen.
I respect that, but I think bullshit. So there you go.
There you go.
No, but I think the lack of superstars, not fighting right now, could devalue each fighter's earning potential, with the exception of Tank. I think while we do, fans enjoy the brief insight into the lives on social media. I think that they would agree that when I say enough of the posturing, enough of the posting, enough of the comments, let's just fight. These four guys, they don't carry the weight on their shoulders like they did in previous years, right? Like these other boxers. Meaning, when you look at them and you do listen to the posts, right? They're not talking about being the best. They're calling each other's names, and nothing really has to do with boxing. I think this generation is just not built that way. I don't think there's any urgency to get in the ring to see how good they really are by challenging the creme de la creme. So I hope that this wouldn't happen, but maybe boxing finds a new home overseas until its greatest champions emerge once again and show the world that what American boxing is all about. And that's the best facing the best. And I would ask, are these kings, or are these pawns?
That's a good one. That's a good one, big bro. Yeah.
So the pawns meaning, hey, are they just being shuffled around by management? Are they been shuffled around by the WO and WBA?
That's good.
You know what I mean? What are we seeing out here? Right? You know, they got us tripping. Like, we don't know we want to see it, right? Yeah. You know, you don't want to see them fight. You want to see this fight, right? Like all the criticism Tank got for fighting his list of guys, you know? Right. So it's really interesting to kind of see what happens on this year, next year, next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Fans will keep talking to you. So who is avoiding whom? Is Tank, is his resume underrated or overrated? You know, we just talked about that. Is Haney too defensive, right? Which is why nobody wants to fight him. Is Shakur too skilled for everybody? I think D was leading to, right? Yeah. Has Keyshawn already become the biggest division threat? No. Which undefeated record is most? Look, and remember, all these guys undefeated. Which one has the most impressive record, y'all? Right? It goes back to the list. And if one of these fights does get made, which one should it be? You know, viewers, drop your comments, drop your rankings in there as well. D, what do you think in the near future? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think?
Well, unless Haney drops his title, he'll be fighting Keyshawn. So let's just go ahead and get that out the way. And that should be a great fight. Tank did say on YouTube that, you know, he want big nose. He called Devin Haney big nose. So he said he want big nose, and that would be a great fight if Tank can, you know, somehow fight Haney.
I want that out of everybody, because I think Haney would give him more smoke than any of them. Haney got that dog in him.
Yeah, Haney is the dog. I give it to him. But you know, if Tank, you know, can get past his out of the ring issues, it just goes back to what I've been saying. I guess it's the fight I want to see. It's just Shakur versus Tank. To me, it's the most intriguing fight because you have this ticking time bomb in Tank that can swim and knock you out at any time. And he has the boxing skills to do it, boxing world. Remember, he can box. And then you have Shakur, who is the superior boxer, who everyone is looking across the yard, looking across the street and like, I don't know, man, if I have enough tools in my tool belt to beat him because of the skills of Shakur. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's going to always be Shakur. It's the fight I want to see, Shakur versus Tank. So the drama continues, man.
Well, I'm gonna draw the parallel between you and I in just a second.
Okay.
Here are my thoughts, you guys. I think the next 6 to 12 months could define American boxing. I think Haney and Keyshawn could probably be the most advanced, meaning the closest we'll probably see out of any of the Four Kings fight, because it's been official order by the WBO. I think a Haney versus Tank remains realistic possibilities. You know, maybe sometime next year, and depending any mandatory obligations. I think it takes Shakur continues to be one of boxing's fans' biggest dream fights, as it looks like it's one of yours.
Yeah, for sure.
But here is where you and I differ, my friend, and there's nothing wrong with this, other than you don't talk about boxing in the mortal words of Roger Mayweather. No, I think when it comes to longevity in this sport, it does fall in the hands of those watching, those paying for the tickets, being at home or being in the stadium. I think when it comes to legend, right? Like word I like to use, it's going to be very subjective, because as you know, there is no rhyme or reason as to who our greatest is in boxing, right? Because statistically, there's nothing out there that says, hey, these are the things that we judge you by in order for us to consider you great. The NBA has its stats where it says, hey, You know, you can contribute as a team or as an individual, right? So many points you scored, your rings, championships, right? Even off season, they've got a dunk contest, you guys, to determine who can jump the highest. How about that? Football hat, right? Individual contributorship. You got as a team. You got your games you win locally. You get recognized for that, and then of course the big one is Super Bowl, right? Tennis got Wembley. So I'm kind of going right around the world. But boxing, what do we have to define greatness? Right. I think boxing is definitely an individualized sport, much like the guys who face each other in and out of the ring when we do see these fights. So just to kind of bring this thing home, I think we're talking about great. I think when they talk about legacy, that's going to be an individual thing. Because it's any barbershop you go to, eventually you get around to boxing. Who's the best, right? Well, it's going to be based on the individual talking about it, right? Right. Some may say Floyd, some say Ali, right? Another thing, we're also victims of our time. I don't think it's fair that we compare boxing eras, right? Things much different. Early on in Ali's career, it was 15 damn rounds, y'all.
You're right.
15 rounds. And some of these guys fought, 4, 5, 6 times a year, right? So respectfully, I would say it's going to be an individual thing. Time will tell after anything. If you're not here over the next 40 years, we can say, hey, I remember when we saw a Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson, a Devin Haney, and his boy named Tank was a bad man. But when I get my favorite fight, it's going to be based on what I like. You know what I mean? Based on my checks, what I think is great.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So Ringside Junkies, hope you guys have enjoyed our talk for the day. I had fun. We certainly hope we do get to see any of these guys, hell, even outside the ring, right? Maybe we see them ride by in a car or something, right? Just to say, hey, man, let's get it on with somebody, please. But if you guys, don't mistake my passion for something else. I do love boxing. And I do love to watch all these guys box. I just think at some point we want to see them fight each other and just bring everything they got to the table. That's all I want. Dean, any final words for our fans?
Wanted to go into who out of all of them, who I think is the best right now.
Okay. I follow you on that one. Okay.
Right now, it's the guy that everybody's looking across the street, Shakur Stevenson.
Of course.
I just think he's the best right now. Of course, he would never fight his boy Keyshawn Davis. He already said that. That's not going to happen. But
I'm fighting you. D, I'm fighting you. I'm fighting you for a chicken dinner and a Coke. Let alone $5 million. We get it on, baby.
We can get it on for a 3-piece. You know what I'm saying? Get it on for a 3-piece, bro. But I just think when it boils down to it, man, he got all the tools, man. And right now, if it boils down to him fighting either Tank or Haney, I just think his superior boxing skills to me, I think Shakur has not only the skills to beat them, but also, become probably the very best #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport at some point. But Big Bro, is crazy. About 3 years ago, if a question was answered about who's the best, I probably would have said Tank easily. But that's just crazy how this boxing game goes, man. Things happen. Because you got to remember, fighters are individual contractors. Anything can happen outside that ring, and just like that, you go from being the top guy to, But for me, Shakur Stevenson. Boxing World, leave a comment leave a comment in the bottom, just letting us know who you think out of these 4 fighters is the best right now. Is the best fighter. Leave a comment.
Obviously, you got a lot, Joe, on Shakur's nutsack right now. So let me give you
Here we go.
my thoughts,
Okay.
which I alluded to earlier.
Okay.
I think that Tank is going to emerge as the king, since we're talking about being crowned, based on his exciting style, his ring history, his fan base. I think is a whole lot more forgiving than these other kings, whether he win, loses, or draw. You know what I mean? I guarantee you, let Shakur lose, see what happens to his fan base. Now, Debo is something else. Debo is showing his other sides, right? But I think at the end of the day, much like Tank's fans, should all fans support their fighters that way? You know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw, right? There's this air about if you lose, right? We're not going to support you.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say about the MMA in the Dana White League for that, but fans over there support their fighters win, lose, or draw.
Yes,
and that's the way that I've been. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna not like Shakur any less if he loses. Maybe I will. I probably will. I ain't gonna lie. I will, y'all. I'm losing. You don't know. I don't know why I'm lying. No, but I mean, he's taking so long to peak. Nigga, come on, do something. No, but
boy,
I think bottom line, I think Tank has put in so much work in entertaining us right now. You know what I mean? He's put the work in where we'll be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if he retired, we'd be okay. I think that's where we are, right?
Yeah.
If Shakur did it, we talk more it than a little bit. Trust and believe that, right?
You got 3 out of the 4 kings that are already on their way to being Hall of Famers, and outside of Keyshawn, which Keyshawn can even be a Hall of Famer. It's like he just don't have the cachet as of yet, but Keyshawn can definitely be. We used to be talking about 4 Hall of Famers here, in my humble opinion. That's going to be Hall of Famers at some point. Out of all of these 4 fighters, I think there'll be Hall of Famers.
I would substitute that word humble and put holy hell. No in the hell. And not Keisha, not right now. I think he needs.
Oh no, not right now. No, I'm saying in the future.
Okay.
In the future.
Okay. And Keisha, be watching this, man. I got nothing but love for the sport of boxing right now, my guy.
As Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame fighters. Okay. Yep.
Well, I think we have kept you guys long enough. If you stayed this long, we appreciate you guys so much. This has been another episode of Ringside Junkies. I'm Derrick.
This is Dana.
And we will see you guys after the bell. Peace.
All right.